Emma Collins was exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that didn't just sink into your bones but settled into your soul. Her small apartment was quiet except for the soft hum of the old refrigerator and the sound of her 6-year-old son, Noah, breathing beside her. It was their nightly ritual. After dinner, homework, and a quick bedtime story, Emma would record a voice note for Noah's father. She didn't expect a reply. She didn't even expect him to listen. But the act of sending it gave Noah some comfort, a sense that his dad was still part of his life, even if only through a few whispered words before bed. Emma leaned in close, brushing a strand of hair off Noah's forehead. She held her phone, pressed the record button, and whispered softly, "Good night, Daddy, we love you." Noah smiled in his sleep. Emma's chest ached at the sight. She pressed send, locked her phone, and set it down on the nightstand. She didn't check the name. She didn't think twice. It wasn't until 10 minutes later, while sipping lukewarm tea at the kitchen counter, that she picked up her phone to see if Noah's father had at least read the message. That's when her heart stopped. She hadn't sent the message to her ex-husband. The name above the voice note made her stomach drop. Alexander Cole. Her boss. Her very intimidating, very powerful, very handsome billionaire boss. Emma's mind went into overdrive. She'd been working as Alexander's executive assistant for almost a year. He was the kind of man who commanded a room without saying a word, tall, sharply dressed, always composed. He didn't do small talk, he didn't tolerate mistakes, and he certainly didn't strike her as the type to enjoy bedtime voice notes from his staff. Her pulse pounded. She opened the chat. The voice note had been marked read. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," she whispered, pacing the tiny kitchen. Maybe he wouldn't mention it. Maybe he'd think it was a weird spam thing. Or maybe, her stomach turned, he'd think she was being unprofessional and fire her. Her phone buzzed. A message from him. "Alexander, say that again." Emma blinked at the screen. Say that again. What was that supposed to mean? Did he think she'd meant it for him? Was he mocking her? She started typing, her fingers trembling. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Cole. That message wasn't meant for you." Before she could send it, another message appeared. "Alexander, no, Emma. I heard you. Say it again, right now." Emma stared at the glowing screen, frozen. This was surreal. She wasn't just talking to Alexander Cole, she was, what? Playing some kind of bizarre voice note game with him. She bit her lip, heart pounding. What is happening? She muttered under her breath. Her phone buzzed again. "Alexander, don't make me ask twice." A shiver ran down her spine. Alexander never used that tone unless he expected compliance, immediately. She'd heard it in meetings, usually before someone's career took a nosedive. With a deep breath, she pressed the microphone button. Her voice came out soft, hesitant. "Good night, Daddy." She released the button and instantly regretted it. Seconds later, his reply came, his voice deep and controlled, with an edge she couldn't quite place. "Alexander, voice note, you have no idea what that does to me." Emma's mouth went dry. What that does to him? What was he talking about? She typed quickly, "Mr. Cole, I think there's been a misunderstanding." Another message interrupted her. "Alexander, we'll discuss this tomorrow. My office, 9 a.m. Don't be late." And just like that, he went offline. Emma sat there in stunned silence, clutching her phone. She didn't sleep much that night. Every possible scenario played out in her head. Was she going to be fired? Was he going to reprimand her for being unprofessional? Or, was there something else behind his strange reaction? Dash dash dash. The next morning, Emma barely recognized herself in the mirror. Dark circles framed her eyes, her hair was pulled back into a messy bun, and her hands wouldn't stop shaking as she buttoned her blouse. She told herself to stay calm, it was just a misunderstanding. She'd explain, he'd understand, and life would go on. The elevator ride to the top floor of Cole Industries felt like it took hours. When the doors opened, Alexander's secretary gave her a curious look. "He's expecting you," she said softly, as if she already knew something Emma didn't. Emma knocked on his office door. "Come in," his deep voice called. She stepped inside. The room smelled faintly of cedar and expensive cologne. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city skyline, and Alexander sat behind his sleek black desk, looking every bit the untouchable CEO. "Sit," he said, gesturing to the chair across from him. She sat, trying to keep her posture straight despite the knot in her stomach. He leaned back in his chair, studying her for a long, unnerving moment. "So," he began, "about last night." Emma opened her mouth, but he raised a hand to silence her. "You sent me a voice note," he said slowly, "that was clearly meant for someone else." "Yes, Mr. Cole," she blurted. "I'm so sorry, it was meant for my son's father. It's something we do every night, just a little routine for him. I didn't check before sending, and And you called me, Daddy, he finished, his mouth twitching as if he was holding back a smirk. Emma's cheeks burned. It wasn't, I didn't, she swallowed. It wasn't meant like that. Perhaps not, he said, his tone unreadable. But I asked you to say it again. Yes, and I didn't understand why. Alexander stood, walking around the desk until he was standing beside her. He was tall, so tall she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. Do you know how many people in my life dare to speak to me with warmth? He asked quietly. Emma blinked. I don't. None, he said, his gaze locking on hers. You work for me, Emma. You're professional, efficient, and you keep your distance. But last night, you said something that made me feel something I haven't felt in a very long time. Her heart thudded. Mr. Cole, Alexander, he corrected. Call me Alexander. She hesitated. Alexander, I didn't mean. He smiled faintly, but there was something dangerous in it. I know you didn't mean it. But I liked it. Emma's breath caught. He studied her for another long moment, then said, I want you to have dinner with me tonight. Her eyes widened. Dinner. Yes. No work talk. Just you and me. I want to know the woman who accidentally called me Daddy. Emma's pulse was racing now. And if I say no? He leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a low murmur. Then I'll keep wondering what it would be like to hear you say it again. And I'm a man who doesn't like to wonder. She swallowed hard. Dinner with her billionaire boss. A man who, less than 24 hours ago, she never imagined speaking to outside of work. A man who now looked at her like she was the only person in the room worth noticing. Emma stood slowly. I'll think about it, she managed. His smile deepened. Good. I like when you think, but I like it even more when you say yes. As she left his office, her head was spinning. She wasn't sure what she'd just agreed to. She wasn't sure what he really wanted. But one thing was certain, her life had just shifted in a way she could never have predicted. And it had all started with a simple, mistaken, good night, Dad.